evening. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. This is Dave, KD7CYM. Western Washington Amateur Television Society is a group of amateur radio enthusiasts that take to the airwaves with mass scan television. We have a repeater located up on Cougar Mountain. We transmit on 70 centimeters. It's a cross-band repeater and spits out images at 1.2 gigahertz. We're also on YouTube with our nets held on Wednesdays and Saturdays between 8 and 9 o'clock. All you need to do is Google WW7ATS. That's Google WW7ATS. And that will take you to our homepage where you'll see the frequencies that we transmit on, and there will be a link that will connect you to YouTube for the streaming that's going on this evening. And again, we'd like to thank the Seattle Repeater Association, the 08 machine WW7STR, to utilize our voice transmission. And that's at 147.08. This is Dave, KD7CYM. I'll pause in case anybody has emergency traffic or needs to make a contact for our net gets fully underway this evening. Good morning. Again, this is Dave, KD7CYM, and this is the Western Washington Amateur Society back this evening. So far, I've checked again via video link is Ron, KD7QKU, Jessica, KS7UHK, Richard, K7ITX, Wade, W7ITL, Jen, W7QO, James, WU7N, and myself, Dave, KD7CYM. Is there anybody else that would like to check in? K7HYB, audio, one microphone. K7HYB, listening out, thank you. Well, let's take the net out. Let's go up to the top to Ron, KD7QKU, see what's going on in Tacoma.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Dave. KD7QKU, this is KD7QKU. What did I say? I don't know what I said. you say it so, we say in our call signs and other people's call signs so often that we don't know how to, we don't think before we start talking, I guess. Don't engage our brain. Well, good evening, everybody. So let's see, last time I looked it was about 49 degrees here, I think. We had 31/100ths of an inch of rain. Yesterday was such a beautiful day. Oh my goodness sakes, it was 57 here every place I looked, and then in the pickup it was 60 degrees. So there's a project I've been needing to do, so I drove over to Home Depot, and I wanted to buy some 2x8s, 8 foot long. And they had some real crappy ones, about 4 or 5 laying on the rack, and the ends were split, and they were split. Oh, they were a mess. So I found somebody, and I asked them if they could bring down another sling of them. They had them up above, and so, yeah, they said they could do that. So 30 minutes later, they finally got them down, and then I got a couple, and they really were not much better than the ones that were there. They didn't have splits in them. The ends weren't split and everything, but they had a big groove. It's like when the saw blade ripped them out. One cut was a quarter of an inch deeper than the other cut. So I made that the back. I mean, the price of them is outlandish. They were $30 a piece. So I paid $60 for 2 8-foot 2x6s. So I can understand what Wade thinking about when he was talking about building his turret, I guess, on the end of his house. Gee, many Christmas building materials. So anyway, I got him home, and then I did build this platform, and I did take a little bit of video after it was finished tonight. I thought about it. I didn't think about it when I was in the process, but I can explain it a little bit later. So, oh yeah, in the potholes, oh my goodness, let me let her drop. So, they had some potholes, a month ago, and they had patched them, and then we had this big rainstorm, I guess, and they just must have got all hammered out. But the patch stuff they put in the potholes, I don't know if it was temporary or what, but man, oh man, is there a lot of potholes between here and Home Depot. Okay, back to that KD7QKU.
KD7QKU. Ron, thanks for that. Let's go to Jessica. KF7UHK.
Up in Everett, this is Jessica, KF7UHK. We have a big pothole out here in our parking lot that needs to be repaired, and I think the winter really did something on for the potholes that had been patched before now and kind of fell apart when the winter hit. We had some good cold weather on here, but we went to Lowe's the other day, and we were buying big 12-foot long pieces of trim, for outdoor trim for our solar shed that protects our inverters, and they were crooked as a dog's hind leg. I'm telling you, they were just so crooked, but they were also understaffed. So, we were exchanging phone numbers. We weren't going to be this phone number for a while, but you can call us, maybe come up and pick it up tomorrow, and hey, we'll take them if we can get that discount, but they wouldn't do that because the people who sent it to them said, you can't give discounts on these things. If you don't like them, send it back. Ended up, they gave us 50% off them all, and we were quite happy about that because we could put them into pieces and make them work. But if you were a professional builder, you probably wouldn't have taken them because they were just crooked, just really bad. And they were, like I say, 12 feet long, and they were not very. They were like 2.5, 3 inches wide, so they were small and just crooked as heck. And once again, understaffed. So if you want to work at Lowe's, they're probably hiring. With that, up in Everett, this is Jessica, KF7UHK.
KF7UHK, Jessica, thanks for that. Let's move on down to Kent, to Richard, K7ITX.
Okay, well, hi everybody. And by the way, Dave, I heard, I think you heard Jerry, of course. I believe he's checking in audio tonight, so rather than just listening, but I could be wrong. So you might see if he's available for a report. Anyway, yeah, Ron, gee whiz. Yeah, no, that's a horrible price. But, the market conditions are what they are. I think with the pandemic and the construction wall, and now everything is just really starting to heat up. And so I'm finding that in my part-time work experience right now. So I've been keeping real busy. So, but let's see, it's pretty calm right now. We got Mika right now. I woke her up, maybe that was a bad idea. So anyway, I better be careful. I'll think of something else down the road here. KB70AM, K7ITX, back to net control.
K7ITX, let's go to Mr. Wade in Tacoma, W7ITL.
This is W7ITL here. I'm just, I was getting a bunch of interference on the repeater switcher, so I was turning that down so I could talk. I didn't take any notes, but sounds like Ron and Jeffsky, you guys were maybe doing some projects. Yeah, the board thing that Jessica mentioned about keeping it straight was all crooked. I don't know what kind of boards they were. I didn't listen that close. But I had some boards that I had left outside for many months, and I had them draped over on a table, and they were bent over, and they were bowed about a foot or so when I had them on the ground. I stuck a heavy box on, about 20 pounds of weight,
and then let them sit inside for about a day or two, and then I took the weight off, and sure enough, they're all flat again. So, all right. Well, I'm going to turn the net back to Dave. This is W7ITL.
W7ITL, wait, thanks for that, man. It's ID time again. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine on J87CYM. Now, let's move on down to Covington, to Jim, M7QO.
M7QO, thank you, Dave. Good evening, everyone. Well, I'm in the shack so that you can hear me on the 2-meter machine. So my wife is on a Zoom meeting with the computer, so I'm not doing video tonight, but I see you all. Let's see. Wade, good job with the lumber. That's they should give you a discount for straightening their screwed up lumber, but oh well, such is life. Ron, yeah, I've seen terrible prices as well. I wonder if there might be a lumber yard kind of sort of closer by, or close by that might be better. Jessica said Lowe's, maybe McClendon's. There's a Dunn's Lumber up here. I don't know what all's in your neck of the woods, but I don't know. I'd try to find a different place for just for reference for the next time I need to go get some. Dick, yeah, I saw Mika just lying there. Watch out, don't poke a sleeping cat. You might need a couple stitches in your finger next time. But I don't know, some are laid back. Mika kind of goes hot and cold. You never know Mika's mood until awake. Anyway, back to you, Dave, M7QO.
M7QO, let's go on to James, WU7N in Bellevue.
Well, good evening. How's the audio coming through tonight? I put about 15 watts into a new antenna. Okay, people can hear me. That's good. Only minor interference on my monitor, so maybe I'm getting there. Well, given the amount of rain and just generally poor weather, I mean, it's been pouring around here. I'm amazed that our signal tide off 1.2 gigahertz is really very, very good. Just thought I'd mention that. So I don't know if that's just luck or what's going on with that. Usually when the weather's poor, the signal is poor, but not tonight. And Ron, you have probably just pointed out the most significant factor in our economy right now next to energy. I mean, if lumber, if you're paying $60 for 2 pieces of 8-foot anything, and it's garbage, $60 for the $60 for 2 8-foot pieces of lumber. To me, I don't understand how you can build even, and if it's that expensive. But I don't know, maybe there's just the infinite amount of cash washing around out there. Maybe there's somebody that can buy a house made out of gold and lumber. Well, anyway, I had some projects to do aiming for the spring here, but I guess the first one's to get myself prepared, going to get some pictures and scans done on that tomorrow. So that should be interesting. Let's see, other hot news in my life, I got a brand new iPhone. And this is funny. I was trying to transfer the old iPhone to the new iPhone. Okay, well, I was saying I got a new iPhone, and it's an Apple Watch. Any chimpanzee could do this. So again, transfer ring says it's all successful. So now the phone, if you dial the cell phone, both phones ring. And you can't make a call from the new one. And so far, like if you try and search text messages for a keyword like lumber, because you can't remember whether Ron sent you that text or Dave sent you that text, it won't find it. It won't find anything. You can actually look at a text right there and say search for this string under the message application, and it doesn't find anything. It's blank. So if anybody knows, how to fix that, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to turn it off and let it sit overnight. Maybe it'll get better.
is James in Northeast Bellevue, WW7N. So let me turn it back to Dave on net control. Take it away, Dave.
WW7N. This is Dave, KD7CYM at Lake City. And we got temperature of 49 degrees and cloudy outside. Boy, listening to Ron's lumber prices, I think getting back to construction, you're going to see more and more of these metal 2x4s used in framing up inner walls, or putting plasterboard or putting particle board up inside the walls. It's just too expensive to use 2x4s at the price that they're selling them for. And metal is a lot cheaper so far. Who knows? There'll probably be an increase in metal pretty soon. They'll find out it's a rare commodity. Anyways, this is Dave, KD7CYM in Lake City. So that's about all I've got to say from this area. Then we'll go back up to Ron, KD7QKU, who's $60 less in his pocketbook that has a couple of chunks of wood. Let's go to Ron, KD7QKU.
Okay, thank you, Dave. KD7QKU here. Well, Jessica and everybody, my son ran into the same thing, when he built his house, but he built his house about 3 or 4 years ago, thank God. Lumber was a little bit cheaper. But when it came to base and casing, it was awful. And so he used 1x4s. So he used just 1x4. The bad thing about 1x4, they're not tapered on the edge, and so the dust collects on them. So when you have them for baseboard, especially if the walls are white and the base is white, you get dust collected on top of it. And they kind of did the same thing here in a few places. They used 1x4. So that's a good thought. They're usually fairly straight. They might have a few knots in them. But if you put on thick paint, you hardly see the knots. So, James, your iPhone, so there's an Apple store down in Bellevue Square, and it might be worth a trip down there. Every time I went down there, they helped me for nothing. It was free. But when Joanne bought a new phone, but she bought it at the Verizon store, and she paid $400 for it, and I think it's probably about what you got, but I don't know. But they transferred everything over, so her phone worked really slick. But it was amazing, her old phone still worked. They didn't shut it off. They didn't take the SIM card out of it. You could still charge it, I suppose, and still make a phone call on it. I don't know. You could the last time I looked at it. So I do have a video here. I'll switch over and see if I can make it work. Hang on. See, there we go. The screen is black. There it comes. So, there, that's our bedroom set. There, we already passed what I wanted you to see. So it has a bridge over the top of it, and if you notice, the drawers slope back from the bed. So the drawers were below the mattress, and so the pillow would always slide over. The drawers are at about a 45-degree angle. So I built a platform and put underneath that headboard, and then Joanne helped me set it up there. So hopefully now the pillows won't slide off the bed. So we had a pile of towels and stuff to keep the pillows in the right position when they would slide up there. So now we don't have to do that anymore. So let me go back. Right at the very beginning, you can see what I did. I haven't painted or anything. down there at the bottom, you could just barely see it. That's where I should have, I guess, recorded in that position longer. The 2x8 is down there. I made a 2x8 platform. Probably think was a lot of work for nothing, but we've been, ever since we've had this bedroom set, and it's been a long time now, we've been cussing it because because the pillow was always slid down in there. So it used to have mirrors in it, so the back of it was mirrored. But if I raised up the headboard, the mirrors would no longer fit, so we decided to give up the mirrors. So we gave up the mirrors. But anyway, that was my project. So, and tonight will be the first night to try it out. So back to net, KD7QKU.
KD7QKU, thanks for that. Again, it's time for another ID. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. Let's go to Jessica and Everett, KF7UHK.
KF7UHK. You know, we were lucky because a bunch of the wood we used, not all of it, but a bunch of it was what I would call legacy lumber. It was stuff we bought from other projects. We had a roll of black tar paper we used to cover some of the things, the roof and the sides before we put our siding up. And we had two different boxes of nails for both of our nail guns, which are another nice thing about building things is use a nail gun. That's the way to go. Nice big compressor, just bang, 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 and just one trigger does these 4-inch nails or 4.5-inch. They're very long nails. And we also had pier blocks, cement pier blocks we had bought from some other project, probably when we had our cabin. So those are probably 20 years old, and that was kind of nice that we hung on to all this stuff. So that's good. Now, James, on your telephone, I am a big fan of calling my provider. When things don't work out, I just call up the experts and say, I bought the thing from you. You got to help me out now. So that's what I do. I just fall on my sword, ask for help. Just say I'm going to go ahead and ask for help. It's kind of like people who don't like to ask for directions. Somebody doesn't like to ask for directions. I do. I will absolutely say, I don't know. I just got to ask someone. Much easier than fighting it out. That's it from here. I'm hoping to make some hamburgers tonight for dinner. And so other than that, I'm going to pass it back. This is KF7UHK.
KF7UHK. Well, let's try Gary and Maltby, K7HYB. No response. Let's go on to Richard and Kent, K7ITX.
All right, well, Ron, very nice work. I'm kind of bummed out that you don't have the mirrors anymore, though. I think that might have been a lot of fun. But I don't know. Life goes on, and, changes happen, and the mirrors got old. What can you say? So anyway, Debbie and I, we watched our friends in Russia, not our personal friends, but we feel like it. We've been watching them for a couple of years now on YouTube. It's just a cute little family couple with a new little baby. We watched them build their house. I think I might have mentioned that previously. Anyway, they took a trip today out to the country village where Susie's parents live, and they went out there to plant potatoes. I think they're kind of getting a little paranoid about the price of food in the very near future. So they did a lot of videotaped working out. They had about rows, and I'd say the garden plot they were working on was probably, gosh, it was a good, oh my goodness, 300, 500 feet by 500 feet. I mean, they were planting a lot of potatoes. Holy moly. So, that being in Fat City this spring and summer, and have lots and lots of potatoes, and probably they're going to need them. A lot of the reports I've been seeing that they're very scared. They just they have no problem admitting they live in a police state, and the government's a circus. So I heard them say that once, and I probably won't hear him say it again, because he just flat out said that we can't protest or we'll be imprisoned. And he said that if he didn't have a family and a little baby to take care of, he probably would go out and protest. But he can't do it for fear of not being able to provide for his family. So very eloquent, broken English, of course. That's part of the reason why he started the channel a couple years ago. In love with the United States, pretty much, and a lot of people would fall in love with them. Okay, with that, K7ATS, back to net control.
K7ATS, let's go on to Wade in Tacoma. W7ATL.
This is W7ATL. I think this round I'm just gonna be real short and just say, it's been a good night. It's kind of a bummer. I haven't seen some of the. Bert hasn't been on in a while, so but I definitely get some good conversation tonight, and I like Jessica's background. So with that said, let's just move on to the next person. All right, W7ATL, back to you, Dave.
W7ATL, wait, let's go to Covington, Jim, M7QO.
M7QO, thank you, Dave. Well, Wade, we missed you on the last net. Bert was actually here on the last net. He was explaining to us that he's been occupied, he's been busy, studying a bunch. He is now an Amazon certified cloud practitioner. So we all congratulated him on that. But I know he must have something going on tonight, maybe work related. I know sometimes he has to communicate with people in India. Let's see. I heard Gary earlier. He said he was audio only. I did not hear him say in and out tonight, but he did say that on the previous net. Anyway, maybe he's out there still. Let's see. Jim, cost of lumber. Yeah, you gave me an idea. I wonder if maybe I could disassemble some of my walls, and instead of 24 inches between studs, maybe I can go 48 inches between studs. I don't know. The place hasn't really fallen down or even rippled when the wind blows here yet. I guess the siding is pretty stout. I don't know. Just brainstorming. But having seen the price of lumber, it no longer surprises me why the cost of real estate is going up so fast. It's like out of sight. I got a recent offer in the mail, someone interested in buying a place sight unseen, and it's like, really? I don't think the place is worth that much, but maybe it is. having said that, don't misinterpret that, King County. You're charging me enough for property taxes. Back to you, Dave, and 7QO.
And 7QO. Thanks for that, and it's time to ID again. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. Well, let's put a Bellevue to James, WU7N.
Well, thank you, Dave. Yeah, I'm reminded of a passage from Dr. Zhivago, where the kind of the narrator of the story is a policeman, and the doctor actually goes out one day when he finds out that his wife is not burning lumber each night in the stove, or each morning when he leaves, and that's why his kid is losing weight. So the doctor goes out to pilfer wood off, he tears the wood off the fence, and the policeman doesn't know what to do with this because they can't let everybody do this, because if you start pilfering wood to burn, to get your freezing to death in the Moscow winter, then it'll destroy the whole city. I mean, the city will get torn to pieces. So that's an interesting turning point in that novel. But I wonder at what point we'll have people, selling lumber out in the corner of their house they tore out of their walls. I mean, it sucks for an 8-foot piece. Well, not going to be long. And of course, the next question is, how many pieces of lumber can you tear out of your own house before it falls down on top of you? I mean, they certainly don't need all that lumber, do they? I'm also definitely going to go out to my storage area. I think I have some partially rotted 2x4s, and I'm going to have to see if I can pressure wash them and sand them and clean them up and see if I can, resurrect them. I found 2x4s under the house I live in when I moved in, and they were coated with mud, but they were in pretty good shape, so I pressure washed them, I let them dry for a while, and then I sanded them, and I built a workbench out of them, and I was just amazed at how more dense the lumber was in the late 1970s as opposed to what you were buying in the 1990s. It just seemed like balsa wood compared to what they were building with just a few decades before. And you can really tell the difference because of course, I was one 2x4 short for this project. So I had to go out and buy a 2x4, and I just couldn't believe it. I was like, wait a minute, is this like, do you have any other 2x4s here? Because it was so different than the other 2x4s. And that was also the last project I used oil-based white paint on. After that, I think everything's latex now, just about, except the Rust-Oleum. Well, anyway, we're doing Gary tonight. I hope he comes back. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and pass it back to our net control Dave for the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. This is James in Northeast Bellevue. Take it away, Dave.
WU7M, James, thanks for that. This is Dave, KD7CYM. Oh my. Hey, Jim talked about property taxes, and I got the wonderful letter in the mail today with my property taxes for next year, and it was only an increase of $500, and I was very happy with that. But overall, terrible taxes in the city of Seattle for housing. I think could probably build several of these small homes for the homeless very easily with what they're collecting from all of the houses in the area, property owners. And this is Dave, KD7CYM in Lake City. So we'll go back up to Ron, KD7QKU.
Okay, KD7QKU. You're kind of scratchy, Dave. Hard for me to understand you. Yeah, Jessica, I forget what you said you had or you were going to have for dinner, but we had orange chicken, and it was really good. We haven't had something like that for a long time. Actually, we bought it when we were at Safeways, or not Safeways, but Fred Meyer's. But it was good. Last time we had it, we bought it at Safeways, in the deli. But just kind of had to make your own. So one of the wonderful things that happened is because I had bought this nail gun over at Harbor Freight when I was putting the shells in the shed, and I guess I didn't put any oil in it, and so it kind of seized up and it wouldn't work. And oh man, I had one, Finco, old one that seized up and wouldn't work. So rather than try to work on it, I ran down and bought this one, and I was really disappointed when it wouldn't work. So I stood it on end and I filled it full of oil, and I had it sitting out in the shop for a couple of months. And so today when I was going to nail that frame together, I thought, man, oh man, it sure be nice if that gun would work. So I think I was praying that the gun was going to work. So I started up my little air compressor, snapped the hose onto it, and shot it into a 2x4, and bam, it worked. I was so happy. It was so much easier to hold the pieces of wood and shoot them with a nail gun than it was to try to drive it in with a hammer. So that was really good. Yeah, and Jim, I probably do need to look at some other lumber yards. I don't know what lumber yards are around here. And Wade, I was wondering how your I want to call it your crypto mining is doing. You haven't mentioned it for quite a while. Maybe you could bring us up to date on that. And then you guys talk about taxes. Joanne went down Tuesday, and our income tax figured out. Oh my golly, are we going to have to pay tax this year? I hope the stock market goes up because we're going to have to take a lot of money out. Oh my, just can't believe it. I mean, I thought maybe we'd have to pay $20,000 or $30,000, but it's way more than that. Unreal. So that's what happens, I guess, when you sell your house and you only paid $19,000 for it and you get $1 million for it. So that's no good. Anyway, I guess back to that KD7QK report.
KD7QKU, let's go to Jessica, KF7UHK, and also the net acknowledges Lee M7KC is checked in.
As I like to tell Sylvia, it's hard to complain to your friends when you got to pay too much taxes, because it probably means you have too much stuff. It was kind of like, like our boat, our sailboat. You really couldn't complain about the fact that you had to pay high fees to keep it on a dock or to pull it out for maintenance. People won't feel sorry for you. So we haven't done our taxes yet, and I'm still worried about that. But we did get our property taxes in there, and they're higher than normal. That are concerning, but not too bad. Land O'Lakes, one of my favorite butters in the butter section. I could not find any the other day. There was none. And the little tag at Fred Meyer saying, sorry for the inconvenience. So little things are still not showing up. One of mine is pink milk or strawberry milk from my local Fran's bread store, as I call the day-old bread store. They don't have the strawberry milk. They've had the chocolate sometimes, but not the strawberry, and that just irks me because I really like strawberry milk. It's just something I just like. Some people have their alcohol they like. I like strawberry milk. Porter cable. I got two. Both our guns are Porter cables. One is the one that will drive a nail through your two 2x4s, and then the other one will do like put on siding with these little pins that are very nice. And one time we took our Porter cable compressor down to the Porter cable dealer down south of Kent, and for a very small amount of money, they refurbished it, made it run really good for us, and I was really happy to know that they do that. So if you do have something from them, they will service their own equipment for fairly cheap. With that, it's 48 degrees, and it says flood next to 48 degrees. Before it just said cloudy, but now it says flood. So it's 48 degrees and flood. KF7UHK.
KF7UHK, and again, it's ID time. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the OA machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. Well, let's check in at Port Angeles to Lee, M7KC, finally.
Okay, I think I'm in at 7KC here at Port Angeles. I see some indication that I made it. Well, good evening, all. Ron, I think you're wrong on that. We bought our house in Seattle for $18,500, and we sold it for what we thought was a good price. And you can have a one-time sale. You're living in the house. That's your only. You don't pay any taxes whatsoever on that excess money. If your tax man or your guy told you that, I think you need to look around, because I don't think you owe any tax when you one-time sale on your house. Anyway, I'm pretty sure of that. At least we didn't, and it was legal. The other thing I wanted to ask about Wade. Wade, I got a box the size now that I could put those demodulators in. We still want those things, so you have to let me know. As you do, then I'll take steps to get it packed up. Finally, a box came in that was big enough to do it. It was really, really long, and I looked all around. I went all over the place looking for a box that would do it. I didn't want to build anything. So finally I had something come the other day that was in a long box, and it worked. At least for one of them, possibly two. Anyway, I didn't start a timer. I'm late because I had a movie going. And I got hooked on that thing and so forth. So I took a break, and we're going to finish it off after the net here. Anyway, so that's it for Port Angeles. You were mentioning the temperature, 46.5. James, interesting for you. Paula was on the weather net this morning, and midway through her dissertation, which is always short, the repeater went down. They had to go up on the hill and fix it. Oh my! I knew it was trouble with it. It's been having some problems at the interface. The switching when it goes from one to the other. Sometimes it kind of forgets to transmit again for a few seconds. But this time it stopped in a mid-transmission, and that's not good. And it wasn't. But it was just a fuse problem, and they got it taken care of. Anyway, with that, I think this is KC here in Port Angeles. Thank you, Dave.
Connected N7KC.
One more time, see if Barry is available. K7HYB. And let's move on down to Kent, to Richard, K7ITS.
Yeah, Ron, I don't think too many people are going to feel sorry for you. Or let me just put it this way. You got a tough problem there. And all of us will eventually sell in the hot market that we're in. Particularly, Lee, I think Ron has exceeded the $500,000 tax exemption that you get on your one-time sale for a couple. And maybe you just skated under that. That would be my guess. So anyway, but I'm not a tax advisor, and so don't take my word for it. That's for darn sure. I just know that there are a lot of people that would like to have your problem on. I wouldn't mind having your problem as well. So there you go. And oh yeah, one other thing. Jessica, your pink milk made me think of, I didn't necessarily like, strawberry milk. I love chocolate milk. But, I really liked, and this might bring back some memories, do you remember when growing up, did your mom and dad, your mom in particular, did you guys ever buy this product called Flavor Straws? Flavor Straws. Come in different flavors, chocolate and strawberry, I guess, with the two flavors, and you just take this straw that had, I guess, some the flavor built right into the straw, and so you just have a plain glass of milk, and by golly, you'd have strawberry milk right through the straw. And but even though I didn't like strawberry milk, just the fun of having strawberry flavored milk because I had this straw, then of course I liked it. So anyway, I couldn't help but think of that. So anyway, KD7ATS, K7ITX, back to net control.
K7ITX, Richard, thanks for that. Let's go on to the W7ATS.
All right. Let's see. Ron, you got anything on my taxes? I had to take out a loan earlier this year. I think hopefully I didn't get any tax forms. I looked for them from my loan or my 401k company, but I took out a self what do you call it, a payback loan where you pay yourself back, so I could do some repairs in my home. So I think it was like under $60,000 or something. So hopefully I'm not hit with a big taxation on that. And let's see, what else did I have comments about? James, with the wood, the density of the wood. I know that depending on the wood that you get different density. I typically try to hand pick my lumber. I always try to pick the stuff that's a little heavier than the other. I usually go for Doug fir. The hem fir stuff's a little lighter, so it might be that's also what we were talking about. But what else? Do I have any other comments? I don't think so. That's that. Oh, are you guys not able to hear me?
Still mining.
Crypto mining. No, there's not too much going on with that. It's just chugging away and making money. It has slowed down a few times, and because of the volatility of the market right now with all this stuff going over in Europe, it has reduced its value a little bit. So right now it's because of the positive kind of comments been made on the news the last couple of days, it's gone up a little bit. So I've been kind of watching it, looking for the opportunity to sell it and go into something more stable. But right now I'm just waiting for it to happen. That's it. W7ATS back to net.
W7ATS, M7QO.
M7QO, thank you, Dave. Well, let's see. Jessica, it made me think of another product when I was a youngster, Nestle's Quick, and we would mix that in milk and come up with different flavors, and it seems to me that was kind of yummy. And you can put that in kind of any kind of milk you want. Just a thought. And I am still finding it occasionally impossible to get certain items at the grocery stores. And sometimes I'll get products which are maybe like watered down from what they used to be. I remember we just recently got a jar of tomato sauce, and it's like, usually it's thicker. It was about half as thick as the former consistency, but I don't know. Okay, Ron and Wade, for selling houses, I don't know. The last time I bought a house was in 2000, so it seems to me there is a special IRS publication for sale of a house. So go on irs.gov and search for a publication regarding sale of a house. I can tell you the way I seem to remember it used to be. It seemed that if you sell your house, as long as you buy a more expensive house, then you don't get hit with a tax reset. But kind of like Lee was saying, there might be some sort of limitations on that, or maybe it was Dick saying that. And then it seems that you're entitled a one-time opportunity to sell your house and write off the gain on that. So presumably the last house that you're going to own, you could write that off. But like someone was saying, there's probably going to be a dollar limit on that too. But anyway, it's worth, before you write out a big check, it's worth investigating just a little bit further. Search the IRS website for publication sale of a house. And good luck with that. Just out of curiosity, let us all know what you find. Back to you, Dave, N7QO.
N7QO, let's go to James in Bellevue, WU7N.
Well, this is James, WU7N, Northeast Bellevue. Jessica, thanks for the missing strawberry milk report. I remember back a year ago we were all comparing what was missing and what was not. The only thing recently I have come up with is a particular type of brand that Joe's was just not there for actually a couple of weeks, maybe several weeks. And, they had other bread there, so it was not a big thing. It certainly puts this in perspective if you have people in Russia plowing up 300 by 500 foot fields to plant potatoes. It's just horrible what's happened to the economic system, as well as what's happening in Ukraine. It's kind of mind-numbing to think about your money just suddenly becoming basically worthless. I was looking up what a ruble was to a dollar, and I think it's like 9 cents, something like that, 9 cents to a ruble, something like that. It's what it is right now. And they've closed the equities market. There's no point in opening it because it would just crash, and so they just shut it down and said we're not having an equities market until further notice. So they certainly are literally paying a high price for what's going on there, that's for sure. Also, Jessica, you said your weather guesser doesn't guess well, but I think it's just guessed absolutely accurately. Right 2 times a day, so you got to keep that in mind. So let's see, the other thing I was saying is it's pretty gutsy if this guy is on a YouTube channel and he says he's in a police state. Because privately, Russians as well as some people in other former republics will tell you that, okay, we had a police state. Under Stalin it was fairly horrible, but everybody went along with it. And then post-Stalin everybody said, well, Stalin was horrible. But then when the Soviet Union broke up, we tried democracy. And it was an absolute anarchy. It was an absolute zoo. It just went crazy. I mean, I remember at one point someone in Moscow was telling me it was so confusing you didn't even know who to pay your extortion money to. It was so crazy. And so that's why Lam and his boys, for the KGB alumni just took over everything, and why everybody supported them, because after a while of what they had before, he was looking pretty good. So it's pretty gutsy on the YouTube channel to say that out loud. I mean, everybody knows it. It's just, I don't know, like all the functions during a silent prayer, you just don't do it. Well, on that positive note, I guess I will turn it back to our net controller, Dave, over in Seattle. So we got about 6 minutes left. This is James, WU7N. Really enjoyed the net tonight.
WU7N, thanks for that, James. Well, Russia, I guess you could say, was the originator of the stolen election. So anyway, that's where it probably got started. And I like this idea of the straws. I was thinking, if you just had plain milk, you could get something that was Bailey's with a chocolate flavor. And really enjoy your milk that way. That's the only comment I'd have to do with that. So we'll go back up to Ron, KD7QKU, who's going to be poorer here in a couple of weeks.
Okay, thank you, Dave. KD7QKU. Well, creme de menthe is what you put in your hot chocolate. creamed to mint really makes it good. Yeah, no, we went to a professional tax preparer because we knew this year was going to be a problem. And, yeah, unfortunately, we far exceeded everything that we could take in deductions. It's a shame, but anyway. And then our investor, the guy that manages our money for us, he had warned us. So I thought it was going to be big, but I didn't think it would be this big. So anyway, I guess we'll survive. And as far as our property tax went, our property tax came down over here compared to what it was in Bellevue. So you know, that's good. So yeah, so I don't know if you guys have to prepay your taxes. Like Dave does, I suppose he has some investments. If you have many investments, you have to prepay your taxes every year, twice a year. So I don't know. Next year will be just fine. We'll be back to normal, and Joanne will be doing it on TurboTax. But this year was a big mess, unfortunately. So anyway, I guess that's about all I got for now. So sorry, Wade, that your little, I want to call it mining operation there isn't making fun. I thought I saw on my phone that the cryptocurrency had gone back up to $50,000 a coin, but I could be wrong about that. Okay, back to net, KD7QKU.
KD7QKU, let's go to Jessica, KS7UHK.
KS7UHK, butterscotch schnapps. That goes really good in hot chocolate or on top of ice cream. And many things just go great on just vanilla ice cream too. Or Kahlua. Kahlua is very nice. I don't like coffee, but I do like Kahlua. Let's see. Marie Callender's cornbread. You buy this bag, you throw some water in it, and you made a nice big pan of cornbread. Can't find that anywhere, which just really bizarre because it's like only a couple bucks, and you have a pan of cornbread. Very easy to make. Didn't have to add any eggs, just some water, and boom, it's ready to go. So that's all I got for you this time. This KF7UHK.
KF7UHK, let's go to Lee, N7KC.
Okay, very good. Well, Jim's off on the ramps, and I didn't know that. Apparently Gary was sitting there too. Anyway, N7KC, very important. Well, I'm sorry, I'm wrong. Anyway, well, yeah, it's too bad, but I'm sure it won't leave you destitute. So that would have been nice if really. You know, I thought in fact, I have thought all along that you wouldn't have to pay anything, but I guess that's feeling on the thing. I suppose when you exceed it, I suppose they just look at it as free money. You know, I don't know. Didn't work for it. That's always the thing. They say, well, it was unearned income, right? You know, so you didn't earn it, it's not yours. We'll take it. Anyway. Well, I don't have anything else, to be honest. I just wanted to get up here and drop in before the night was over and so forth. I'm really tired. It's just been a crazy day. You can't see it now, I changed the Band-Aid, but I went to the skin doctor yesterday and had a biopsy. And, you know, not that everybody hadn't had one of those things, or two or three. But, so I'll know in a couple of weeks, you know, what the bottom line is on that. And, we'll see. And that's about it from there. My jaw, I'm better. I'm definitely better. I'm not 3 fingers yet, but I'm 2 at times. So, you know, it's very nice to be able to eat again without too much difficulty. I was at the point where I had to hold the plate up here and try to push it in, you know, when I first started. I just thought of myself going to a restaurant and seeing I've got a plate up here and I'm trying to... Anyway, that's it. N7KC, really important. Thank you, Dave.
N7KC, thanks for that. And all nets have to come to an end at some time, and that time is right here. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net, and I'd like to thank the Seattle Tech Repeater Association for allowing us to use their repeater, WW7STR 147.08, for our Wednesdays and Saturdays, and that's held here between 8 and 9 o'clock. So on behalf of the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, this is Dave, 87CYM, signing off at 9 o'clock. Good evening all.